Hi and welcome back to my channel and my Diaspora to Home series. Today we are here at Ewells Realty Consultancy unpacking the Ghana property market. So make sure you stay tuned, especially if you're a first-time buyer in Ghana. Make sure if you haven't done so far, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share for more, and let's get straight into it. Welcome back. Today I'm excited because I'm here with probably one of the most renowned realtors in the whole of Ghana, Madam Hanna Atiase of Ewells Realty Consultancy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Wow, what an introduction. Why, thank you. I receive it.
Amen.
Thank you.
But I say that because I've seen a lot of what Ewells, anywhere you go in Ghana, pretty much your brand comes up. How long have you been building this brand? What is it you do? Tell us more about Ewells and Consultancy, Realty and Consultancy.
You got it. Thank you. So, Ewells started in 2014, March 2014. So we're coming up to 10 years. But we didn't really start focusing on the brand until about 3 years ago.
Okay.
The first thing we wanted to do was understand the market. We wanted to make sure that we were satisfying our customers' needs. We wanted to provide the best customer service and customer experience, which is so key.
Yeah.
Because we want everybody to walk into Ewells and walk away saying, wow,
I love
the
that
experience I had.
I love
so
that.
we were focused on that.
Okay.
And then we started building the brand about 3 years ago.
Okay. So almost you want to focus on a product and now you're looking, you've done it the right way around, because in Ghana, what I've noticed, forgive me to anybody, I hope I'm not offending anybody, but there is this terminology that we call packaging. So they work on everything around it, but the product is not so good in terms of what they're delivering. So you've made sure you've built up your name and now you're, now everybody knows what you're all about and now you've put everything around it, which I think is what you're getting at and which I think I see as well.
Absolutely. But you see, you have to realize that the real estate agency market has a negative connotation surrounding it and a negative narrative. So what you have to do is you have to come in and build a brand that people can trust.
Okay.
We are essentially the trusted gateway to safeguarding your investment. And we need to be able to build that foundation first before we start trumpeting the brand. Right?
That's it. I get it. And it's like building a house. There you go. Your house needs to be built up, right, from the foundation upwards, right, to make sure that you've actually got a great structure. Right. So tell me, what are the services that Ewells Realty and Consultancy provides?
Yeah, so we provide property management services as well, because a lot of times people buy their properties and they're overseas and they need someone to come in and manage it. And we don't just look at it as just managing a home, but essentially you are sustaining an asset, not just sustaining it but growing it, because the maintenance part of it is what helps grow this asset as well. And then first-time home buyers consultation, because a lot of times first-time home buyers don't even know where to begin. It's not just wake up and go find a house. There's a lot more that goes to it. So we want to educate people on how to find that house. We want them to look at buying a home beyond their home. Even if you're a first-time home buyer, obviously this is not your dream home. So why don't you buy it with an investment perspective and not out of emotion?
I love that. And that's exactly what I want to go into. So a lot of people that come to me as well are first-time buyers. What are some of the mistakes that you see first-time buyers make? And that's the reason why you provide your service, obviously, but what do you tend to see people go and do?
The mistake I made,
which is
trying to keep up with the Joneses. Forget about the Joneses. Jones don't care about you. And so you want to buy this house in this prestigious neighborhood. I mean, I bought my first home at 23 with my brother, and I talk about that. As a first-time home buyer, don't think you have to do it on your own. There's that buying power and leverage whatever you can to get you on that property ladder to get you started. So the first mistake I made was that I wanted to buy a home that I loved. And you don't necessarily have to love your first home.
Interesting. Okay.
What you should be looking at, more than the emotional aspect. Don't be an emotional buyer for your first home. Be a strategic financial buyer.
Okay.
Make sure you're buying in an area that you know the appreciation value is going to go up, your property value is going to go up. And later on, when you want to rent it out, you're not going to be the only one who loves it.
That's it. That's it.
You know what I mean?
So how does one become a strategic, what did you call it? A strategic financial investor,
yes.
Right? What are some of, so you mentioned it's based on maybe location, for example. What are some of the key things that people need to look out for to become that strategic financial investor?
Yeah, the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, what is my financial goal? Where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years, right? Do I want to see myself with a lump sum that maybe I want to start my own business and now I have that seed capital for investment? If that's the case, then I'm going to look at emerging markets for appreciation. Because in 5 years, that's my exit strategy. I'm going to sell it, get the capital gains, and start a business.
Yeah.
What is my financial goal in 5 years? Am I looking at another source of passive income? Do I want cash flow? If that's the case, I'm going to buy in an area that has a high demand for rental yields.
Right. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Could you shout out a few of those emerging markets / prime areas that you consider? I mean, one will be for the cash flow, one for capital appreciation. You could just name a few of those areas that you consider.
So the prime areas, and this is interesting because in terms of cash flow, you can look at it from two angles, right? You can look at vacancy rates and you can look at cash flow. So in terms of areas where you can get high annual rental yields, you're talking about 18 to 20%. We know the rule of thumb, anything at 7% is good. So you're looking at prime areas like Airport, the Cantonments, Osu, Labani, Ridge, areas. But bear in mind, there are certain areas in Ghana where they have low vacancy rates. That means that the demand for housing is higher. You're looking at places like Diaspora, you're looking at places like Chajo, you're looking at places like Osu, places people wouldn't typically think about, right? Emerging markets, you want to look at places like Oyarifa, East Legon Hills, Delta, Mount Road.
Okay. And when we look at property types, right, what property types could you get in those areas? And what are some of the price points of some of those areas based on whether it's the emerging areas or some of the prime locations?
Yeah, so I'm a data-driven kind of girl. So based on data, if you are looking at renting in these prime areas, then you want to get a Studio 1 and 2 beds.
Okay.
If you are looking at renting in emerging markets, you get mostly families. So you get 3 and 4 beds, mostly 3 beds in those areas.
And just typically, just for an investor, right? I want to take it back a little bit. For an investor coming into Ghana for the first time, why is Ghana an attractive option?
A lot of reasons. Number one, it is a high tourist destination that was triggered by Beyond the Return. Okay, so if you look at the Ministry of Tourism report just from 2022, you had 118,000 visitors from the United States. That's a lot. That's a lot. Followed by Nigeria, UK, and even India. These are the top 4 areas where you get a lot of visitors coming to Ghana. And this was all triggered by the Beyond the Return. Also business opportunities, with the oil find. Outside of even just tourism, you're also looking at agriculture, which is huge here as well. So these are the different reasons why people are coming in. And also in that report, it showed that 41% of these visitors, and you look at even December of 2022, 1.2 million people came to Ghana in the 30 days.
I saw that stat.
41% of these people prefer to be in an apartment, a furnished apartment at home.
There you go.
This is why people are looking at investment opportunities. And look, Ghana is a beautiful country, a lot of beautiful natural resources that people want to explore. Absolutely. So for all these reasons, people are looking at Ghana as a visit, a tourist area, and also relocation. Very peaceful, where friendly people, y'all. Friendly. Yes.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
people looking at all these reasons for that. Yeah.
I mean, you said you're a data-driven person. I saw that there was also a stat that Ghana is in the top 5 of countries in Africa when it comes to rental opportunities, right? So it's a no-brainer.
It's actually number 1.
Is it number 1? Oh, wow. I saw Angola and some other countries, but I didn't know it was number 1. Okay.
Ghana has the highest annual rental yields in Africa.
Amazing. Amazing. So how does Ewells come into all of that, right? So when it comes to, I mean, you're positioned so well in terms of helping people to navigate this space, right? Actually, before I go there, there's one thing I always hear you say from the various areas we've spoken and panels, and you talk about, especially when somebody's going through that buy-in process, there are some key people they need to make sure they have in their back pocket, right? Just name, who are those 5 individuals? I think it's 5, you keep mentioning it's 4. Okay, I keep getting that wrong. 4 people that you need to have in your back pocket or your speed dial when it comes to you purchasing a property in Ghana.
Okay, so there are 4 people you need to have in the back pocket, and I think 5 that you're talking about is in 5 places you need to check.
We will come back to that one.
I think that's her
Let's go to the 4 people you need to have in your phone book when you're buying a property in Ghana.
Yeah, number 1 is you need, and let me put this word in front of real estate broker professional.
Okay.
And the reason why I say professional is because the real estate agents market is not regulated. So you're not required to go through a sort of licensing process examination.
Like you would do in the US, for instance.
In the US and other countries as well. You know, it's a requirement and it's not regulated, just like the banking sector is regulated by Bank of Ghana. You have the Securities and Exchange Commission that regulates the stocks, mutual funds, private equity firms, and that sort of thing. There's nobody to regulate us. So I say professional because I want to look at somebody's track record. You know, is this a licensed, a certified real estate broker? Have they, taken it upon themselves to invest in themselves, taken courses and classes and received some sort of certificate to show they're serious, right? Are they part of an association? Yeah. Do they have an accountable body? If something goes wrong, are you going to be able to find them? Do they have an office?
Indeed.
So professional.
The body, we'll come to number 2, but the body, so in Ghana, the Ghana Real Estate Agents Authority.
It's Ghana Association of Real Estate Brokers.
That's it, okay.
To be a part of that association, we have to go through fingerprinting and CID. We have no criminal records. I mean, they check to make sure you have office location. Are you paying your taxes? I mean, there is a lot of that's a checklist you must cross before you become a part of that.
That is good. So number 1, professional real estate broker.
Yes.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, people avoid number 2.
Okay.
A legal entity, a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay, don't avoid these fees. I always say it is better to pay a small upfront fee rather than end up paying fees in court year after year after year. And 17% of court cases today are land related. Please do not add to that statistics.
And people just go to buy the same piece of land over and over again. I always say this, you would never go into a shop, go into like a Walmart or a Tesco's or a Maxmart and buy something and then walk out and have to go and buy the same thing that you've just got in your hand again. But that's the analogy. You're literally having to do that again if you don't do the actual due diligence on the land that you're buying, right?
Absolutely. So, but what baffles me is this is not going to Tesco to buy a bag of tomatoes. You are buying a house.
Right.
So why would you send cash directly to the seller and you haven't even verified that they are the valid owner of that property? It just doesn't make sense. Where in the world do you just give somebody a bag of cash for a house?
Indeed. And we're going to come back to that point in terms of how people can make payments. But what would be your number 3?
Number 3 is a valuer, or in the States we call it an appraiser. Okay. What do you call it in the UK? Is it
valuer as well? Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay, and number 4.
Number 4. People avoid number 4. A home inspector.
Okay.
A home inspector is crucial. They check 4 areas of your home that you don't want to invest in a home that you have to keep investing in, right? So they check the roofing, because you don't want to buy it and then next year it caves in. They check the foundation, the structural foundation. They check the plumbing and the electrical wiring as well.
Right.
You don't want to be buying it and then you're sleeping and enjoying your sleep and your house catches on fire. And these things happen because people are not doing their due diligence all the way around.
Okay, so that was our fourth one. So we had number one, a professional real estate agent.
Right.
Number two, a lawyer or a legal advisor. Number three, a valuer, an appraiser. Just share some more light on, what a valuer and appraiser is doing.
Absolutely. They will tell you the actual value of the property. Is this value for your money? Because, let's face it, everybody thinks their home is worth $1 million. I don't care, because of that emotional tie that we have, or the memories that we've created in that home, or the amount of work that we've put in renovating and that sort of thing. But, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but not everybody's home is worth $1 million. Right. And unfortunately, here in Ghana, people list their homes for what they feel it should be. I said it, for what they feel it should be, rather than getting a valuer to look at market analysis in that area, to look at comps in that area to be able to determine the true value. So somebody can sell you a home for $170,000, and the valuer will do an appraisal, and it will come back in at $80,000. And I've seen it happen.
Okay, so yes, make sure you have a valuer. And then number four, of course, making sure you have a house inspector as well, right? There were two more things I want to pick up on based on what you said. The first one was, yes, there is a checklist, right? What are the 5 key things that somebody should look out for when they're purchasing a property in Ghana?
Well, we have an escrow service here at Ewells. We're the only real estate agency that's providing that right now. And so, number one, you want to check the validity of the owner, right? You want to do a search, title search and landscaping. Even with that, never, ever just receive a site plan and run a search based on that. Have your surveyor go out there, pick the points, make the site plan, and do a search based on the coordinates that your surveyor has picked. Right. Because people have got roads and forests.
Okay. Say that again. Oh, wait, we need to make sure they understand that.
Oh, yeah. We hear all kind of stories that come through this office. And unfortunately, somebody just went and just took the site plan they were given, run it, everything was okay. But later on, they found out when it was time to the roads and highways were having to do the infrastructure in that area, they were in their plot. And they said, no, this is a road. And when he had the surveyor go pick the coordinates and run the search, he was somebody else bought a forest. So I think they're still trying to have conversations with the Ministry of Forestry. You cannot build your house in the middle of
the roads and the forest. Yeah, okay. So that was number one. That kind of level of due diligence that somebody needs to do. What's number two?
So number one was do the search, the land solution. Number two, high court. Right. People don't do this because, listen, I don't even know what docket to pull up to see whether there's a litigation on this property or not. This is why you need a lawyer. Right. They'll go to the high court and find out if there's any litigation on that land, on that property. So that's very important.
Great.
Yeah.
Number three.
You want to make sure that you check whether this is a stool land or government land and that sort of thing. So they will check the chieftaincy of that land and make sure you know who it belongs to, because the rules for government land is different to that of family land, private land, stool land. I mean, there are all kinds of lands. So you want to check that. Number four, you want to make sure you check taxes. Okay. Please make sure you check the property taxes. Check the ground rent. The last thing you want to do is buy a house and find out that Kujo and and I'm just using this in general.
No, we're speaking about you, Kujo. We're speaking about you, Abina.
I've not paid
your property taxes,
in 1985. Okay, and now all of a sudden you buy the home and you've inherited this bad debt. You cannot go to and say that, listen, I just bought this house yesterday.
Right.
They don't care.
Right.
They're not going to go after it for Joe and now that you have to pay. Not only that, utility bills, electricity bill, the water bill. I mean, if you're buying a home from someone, all these things need to be paid.
Yeah. Okay. And number 5.
Zoning.
Right.
Don't take this as a joke.
Okay.
Check and make sure that the property is zoned residential or commercial. Why is that important? Let's say I bought land and I said, oh, I just want to build my dream home. I built my dream home. And 5 years down the road, there is a pig farm across the street. You know, and I'm like, you can't have your pig farm in front of my dream home.
And then you check, and then the zoning says that it's commercial. And you're like, well, you know, you didn't do your checks. There you go. So those are the 5 reasons, the 5 things that you need to check before you purchase a house in Ghana. Now, finally, there is something in the service that you provide that you've mentioned that you're one of the only real estate agents and brokers in Ghana that provides an escrow service. Just tell us a little bit more about that service and where people can find out more about it.
Yeah, so the escrow service is to safeguard your investment. You know, a lot of times you hear about people giving money to individuals and then their funds getting locked up in this certain pay. So this helps in 2 particular areas. I mean, it's crucial for every real estate transaction, but the more so in these 2 areas. Number 1, for off-plan properties, right? So the funds are in an escrow account and they are dispersed in phases according to the disbursement conditions in the sales or purchase agreement. So number 1, disperse foundation. The foundation, you have to inspect and check, make sure it's all within the building code, and then you disperse, you build up to lintel level, and then you check, then roofing level, then finish it. Now you know that your funds in the escrow account are safe and being dispersed, and the seller knows that, hey, this person really does have the money. They're serious. Because what happens is if you know you send it directly to the seller, they don't build, your funds are locked up there. Then on the seller's part, they send you some money, they don't really have the money, now they default, and you have to leave your home.
So that's your first reason, well, that's really the background behind the escrow. But tell us more about how people can find out about it or how they can start to use it.
Absolutely. So you can just contact Ewells Realty Consultancy. You can call our landline number, it's sure to be on the screen. Or you can visit our website, ewellsconsult.com.
Amazing. Now there was a question, I'm just going to, quick fire question.
Sure.
I'm going to ask some really random questions, really quick fire.
Let's go.
Do you prefer off-plan or already built?
Personally, I prefer ready built.
Okay. Do you prefer to get a 3-bed apartment or a studio apartment for investment purposes?
Studio.
Okay. Do you prefer East Legon or you prefer Denta?
East Legon.
Okay.
We are located in East Legon.
Do you prefer jollof or do you prefer wache?
Watch it all day long.
Ria and Hannah, thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, let people know where they can find out more about yourself and the services that you offer, just in case anybody wants to find out. It'll be great. But just before we do that, a reminder that if you're keen on purchasing property in Ghana, do feel free to reach out as well. Check out my Diaspora to Home program, my ebooks as well. But Hannah, let people know where they can find out more about you and how they can get in touch.
All right, thank you, Lorraine. All social media platforms at Hanna Atiase. Now, Hanna does not have the H at the end, so it's Hanna, and then my last name, Atiase.
Amazing. Hannah, thank you so much.
Actually,
Reverend Hannah.
Oh my gosh.
Reverend Hannah. Reverend Hannah. I have to, sorry.
God bless you.
I have to. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in for our Diaspora to Home series. There's going to be more like these, more conversations unpacking the Ghana real estate market. And if you want some more, then continue to follow me, subscribe, like, comment, check out all the videos, share, all of that jazz, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Hey guys, I do hope you found this video useful. Now, if you're interested in finding out more about how to purchase property in Ghana and generate some rental returns from it, then do check out the link below to my free online masterclass, which takes you through my 10-step process to help you to get on the property ladder in Ghana and generate some rental returns from it as well. So don't delay, just click on the link below and I will see you in class. Now, if you haven't done so far already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Continue to like, follow, share, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video.